Hello everyone! If you're wondering why I'm showing my face, well, one of my real-life friends said it would probably be better to form a kind of connection with the audience if I had a persona that would actually appear in each of the videos, more so than just that weird icon I always have. So, why have I been away for the past 3 or 4 weeks? Depending on when this video goes up. Well, a lot of things happened. First off, I had a Cards Against Humanity game featuring Paper Plane and T-Fan Page 101, but that took way too long to edit and it's still in the editing process, so I had to move on from that and work on other things. I then tried to make a video at the Transformers Collectors Club Australia meetup where I would compare Fans Toys Quakewave to MP Shockwave, but the person who was supposed to bring Quakewave never actually showed up, so that project was scrapped. Ah well, missing one meetup video, who cares about it anyway? Then I had tons of assignments, and then we got a new dog, and we've recently been fixing up the house to make it all puppy-proof.
I can't let any of these bad boys get damaged, eh?
But don't worry, I'm back, and I'm back on schedule. Hopefully YouTube hasn't dropped me from their algorithm at this point.
Let's begin, shall we?
Titans Return, by and large, has been a pretty fantastic line. It's had a varied cast of characters, and many of them were plucked from the obscure later years of G1 that sadly don't get much attention normally, because why buy the best toys from Titans Return when you can finally finish up your G1 Season 2 Autobot cast? Sadly, it appears that Power of the Primes is catering more to that demographic. However, according to the leaks, there is one upside: a lack of pre-paints. See, when Hasbro knows they're going to sell a character anyway, what they do is change it into someone else and then sell that toy first. It happened with Optimus Prime from Murdermaster, Alpha Bravo from Vortex, Optimus Prime again from Octane, Megatron from Blitzwing, Blur from Brainstorm, and many others, including today's topic, Sentinel Prime from Astrotrain. Thing is, this mold definitely feels like more of its own thing than a traditional Astrotrain, lacking the box seat chest or the chest wing that he usually has, so I'm pretty happy with my purchase. Unfortunately, Australia Post lost the original one I bought in transit, along with KFC Scorpionator, the entire first wave of Deluxes, Galvatron, thankfully, and the first wave of Legends. I've since bought most of them back through other sources, including old Sentinel Prime. But there's a problem. Since I've already repro labeled my figure, I can't really give it a fair review. It's such a drastic change from the original that it just wouldn't be fair. I mean, personally, I found the original colours fine, as the red broke up the orange quite well in spite of what other people say. That said, the repro labels are still a lot better. So I'm stuck with the San Diego Comic-Con version to review. Released in a 3-pack alongside an alternative Brainstorm and an ugly Windblade, how the hell did you get worse than the retail version? He went with the old Fire Guts colour scheme, with an overdose of transparent plastic. And that'll become a problem later. The Sentinel Prime mold is significant in the fact that it has a lot of mechanical detail on the flat surfaces. If one were to take out a Gundam marker, it would look astonishing. Hell, even the repro labels on the original don't cover up all of it. The problem is, the solid orange they use in this mode is a colour that washes most of it out. I'm not sure how it comes across on camera, but it's got a pink hue to it and it sucks up all the detail. I mean, design-wise, it's a damn good spaceship, but colours can make or break a figure. Now, there are extra details that have been picked out with paint in comparison to the original, but it's very hit or miss. It's nice that they painted the windows this time, but it's only half done and covers the wrong areas. The side parts are fine, but these wheels here look extremely out of place. It was fine when they were silver, as they could pass for simple mechanical detail, but why yellow? It just looks ugly. Then you've got the logos back here. I'm pretty happy that Hasbro didn't do their usual Voyager thing, where they stuck stickers on there instead of tampos, but the tampos are done so haphazardly to the point where they're bleeding into the cracks. And I'm sorry, but this transparent orange does not look good. It's hard to make a figure look good with clear plastic, but in my mind you either go big or go home. Make everything transparent or don't even bother trying. Here it just looks like an ugly slime is peeking out from the front and the wings. Now, size-wise, this guy's actually got some heft to him in his vehicle mode. It's not overly bulky, but it's not overly thin either. It's just above average for a Voyager Alt mode.
Okay, so a few of my friends online, not the same friend who told me to show my face in the videos, that was a friend in real life, told me that I should actually start showing my transformations in these videos, simply because some people don't have the instructions and they can't be bothered looking up someone else's videos. So, here we go! The Titan Master stays in place. All you gotta do is just go click like that, with the wings at the back. You want to go under here and untab the wings, like so, and open up the arms. Retract the landing gear. Open up this entire backpack section and rotate it over the top. You can then plug it in. There's a peg there and there's a peg there. You then take these huge bits, and the problem is that these bits are very loose. It's a QC issue on this figure. Yes, so you're going to want to make sure those stay in, so just hold them like that, and you plug in to the arms. You bring down the wheels, which is the same on both sides. Open up this flap here, and fold out what is supposed to be the front, the cab of the train. But with the transparent plastic, it's very hard to tell. Same on this side. Simple as that. And you are done with what is supposed to be a train. At least it rolls better than the retail version.
I'm gonna say it. The train mode is bad. Usually one mode has to be sacrificed to make the other two in a triple changer work. But not to this extent. I get that the unused IDW design they were going for is very hard to replicate. I mean, MMC can barely pull it off as it is. But there's a reason most figures follow the basic G1 conversion. It's because the groundwork's already there. And even then, the original looked okay from certain angles because it had a cohesion in its colour scheme. Even without the repro labels, you could tell what it was supposed to be, a kind of battle train. And certain people could get over it, like myself. Not with the SDCC version, though. Not at all. The transparent plastic makes it nearly impossible to pick out any of the train-specific details, particularly from the front. I mean, look at this! I can't tell where the windows are, and it's nice that they've painted over the wheels, but once again, ugly banana colour! And just as they were in the spaceship mode, the yellow is way too thin. Yellow is a hard colour to paint onto dark surfaces, and although it clashed with Twin Twist's colour scheme, at least it was thick enough. I honestly can't make heads or tails of the top section. Sure, they've gone the extra mile to paint the turrets, but you can hardly see them with this weird red that they've used that coincidentally softens the detail more so than the transparent plastic. And you know why they used it? They did it to save cost on multiple paint schemes so they could also use it on the gun. Which brings up another problem. Why not just make the gun gunmetal like the original? I mean, did the Platinum team design this deco or something? Because a lot of dumb decisions have been made here. Size-wise, it's very long and thin, but you probably won't notice it because no one's ever going to use this mode.
One mode left. First thing you want to do is, once again, untab this section and sort of put it back into the jet mode, the spaceship mode, but instead you rotate these back, or you fold them up into a backpack. Your call. You have options! You're going to want to take out this for now, just while you're there. And my god, this is an ugly headmaster. They've painted the face, but this colour scheme is ugh. And I'm sure I'll say it later in the video because it's on the script. But it just doesn't look like it's an actual head. It looks like it's a floating mask on the back of this. And this doesn't fully fit in there. It's horrible. It ruins the face sculpt. Moving on. You go to the front. Be careful not to touch this because this is on a very, very sensitive trigger, which is another QC issue. These are very loose and very sensitive trigger. Wasn't with the retail version. You're going to want to fold up the train bits on the side, both sides, and untab and put it back down there. Then you're going to want to fold in these bits, open up the tab, bring out the shuttle part, which forms the front of the foot. You can bring out the train cab part, but if you do that, then it's not going to stand as well because there are actually nubs at the back there that stop it. When you bring down the parts, make sure these two connect together to form the groin. They fold. You got two very nice feet there now, which will support the weight. Oh, I almost knocked it over, but it didn't knock over. Perfect example. Moving up, you are going to want to bring out the hands, and because of the transparent parts, he looks very hollow. You bring down the arms, and then you shove on the head with a very loose connection there. If you want, you can put up these shoulder pylons, but honestly, they look hideous, so no thank you.
Now, Sentinel Prime's robot mode is a damn fine robot mode. It's clean, clearly defined, has a killer head sculpt, almost zero kibble, and a pretty decent paint job. It's not very Astro Train, but it's still a solid figure on its own. Now, the SDC version takes the potential and squanders it in almost every way imaginable. The elephant in the room would have to be the colours, as almost everything on here just fails at a colossal level. The paint on the head is at complete odds with everything else, both wrong in colour and finish. It's way too glossy when compared to the other paint, and it dominates the design to the point where it's often hard to tell there are two shades of red here. I'm baffled by its choice too, because it's not featured anywhere else on the body. What's the point of this? The entirely clear torso section is disgusting. On figures with thicker plastic and higher parts counts, it can work, but here with mostly hollow parts, it does not at all. It also majorly clashes with the crimson plastic, which was slightly visible in other modes, but now makes its terrible presence known here. Unlike the shitty red, which can now hardly be seen at all. Again. The tampos can hardly be seen either. The legs are okay on their own, but when compared to the rest of the body, it just doesn't match up. It's like a completely different colour scheme from a completely different figure. If I had to say something nice about the colours, I'd say he looks okay from the back. But honestly, who displays their figures from the back? The other major issue with the figure is the quality control. Many issues have plagued several different releases, so you never know what you're gonna get. Let's roll the wheel of fortune and get a head that won't stay in, a shoulder that locks under higher temperatures. Thankfully, when I recorded this, they forecasted rain later, so it's fairly cool and works not too badly. One loose knee, a sensitive shoulder pylon button, which is horrible because the shoulder pylons look ugly as hell, and a loose wing. Your figure could be even worse, so do you trust it? I sure as hell don't. In terms of articulation, the head is on a simple ball joint, although the colour scheme makes it seem like a floating mask and not a real head, although I'm pretty sure I went off script earlier and said that already. The shoulders are universal with bicep swivels, and he has an elbow that gets in just beyond 90. Problem is, with this transparent plastic, the hollow forearms become more apparent, which I probably said earlier as well, although I must reiterate it. Sadly, no wrist swivel, and thanks to the transformation, also no waist swivel. Although with this solid design, I'm not really that bugged about it. He has universally ratcheted hips, but the outer ones are designed incredibly poorly. He has a 90-degree knee bend, and if one of your knees is too tight like mine, it's either flat or 90 degrees, and nothing in between. Finally, he has hinges on his foot, which helps a little, but not much. I could let this posability slide on a deluxe, but this is a Voyager. Step it up, man. In fact, the whole line needs to step it up. For a size comparison, he's quite tall due to his slender physique and excellent kibble integration. Too bad the colours suck.
Now, making triple changes is a very, very difficult process. I get that on Hasbro's part, but there are different ways you can go about doing it. One of the ways they do is work from the robot mode backwards, so they go from the robot mode through to one mode, and then through to the last mode. And when that happens, it's very hard to get it right, because one mode is often shafted in the end. Now, that idea can work. In fact, I'd argue it already has. The thing is, this figure had a pleasing colour scheme that's made even better by the repro labels, and it's a solid figure overall. There are no QC issues. But this sad sack of shit is unfortunately failing in so many areas. Bad colours, bad QC, lack of cohesion, just a lot of little things that really sour the experience, which is why my final verdict is a 2 out of 5. It's below average. I wouldn't say it's complete bottom of the barrel, but it is still pretty damn bad. That said, if you want to pick it up, I do currently have this on sale over at the TCCA, although don't tell anyone about this review if you're planning on ruining my day, please. But other than that, it's not really worth it. That was supposed to hit the bed, not the floor. Oh shit.